Welcome to the Business Buyer Diaries. My name is Nathan Platter. I'm a full-time employee, and I bought a business. I did everything right, from finding the deal, handling all the due diligence on 63 opportunities, and ultimately bought a profitable gym. And boy, was I in for a big surprise as a new owner. I chronicled everything in real time, including the biggest wins to the stressful nights at 2 a.m. I'm sharing my journey without sugarcoating anything, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's today's episode. So I've been thinking about the deal today and more. Still a word from the bank, nothing new and novel going on, but realizing the fact that this is a two-way sales game over and over. And this episode should probably happen earlier in the series, but early on, I wanted to make an effort to really sell the seller on who I am as a person. Not just that I've got cash, not that I'm smart, that I have a degree from here, or I've experienced, or I worked at a health gym franchisor for a little bit in my career, and like why they should sell to me, but like being a human, talking about their staff, hearing about what their concerns are, what their legacy should be. Do they want to be an instructor? Do they want to be a coach for me? Like, are they open to that? I'm going to need some outside input, and I want to pay them for their time. What would a fair rate be? How often can pick their brain, but like how often can I ask them like for help, or how do I handle a situation? How do they handle the seasonal promotions, the annual picnic, the Christmas toy giveaway, the March into summer, the fall, like all the events they do annually. It's a 12-month business, and it's not just 3 months and you're done. And just really having that relationship. And like texting each other, like, hey, I'm going to be checking out this club this day. Or like, yes, like the other day, he thought I was in a car accident. It's like, hey man, heard you in a car accident. You okay? You all good? And it was a different member, I don't know which one, but it was just a different member. Just like that person to person relationship. It's still a transaction. We're still being very professional. But we're also like people that are like interacting with each other, on that personal front, as the deal progresses. And so as we get close to the part where the bank, I don't know if they've had that convo, but where the bank is saying, hey, here's the deal. Nathan doesn't have, 50% down. Nathan doesn't have 30% down. He's got some down, but we're needing some seller to carry more than the initial 10% than we thought. At least that's what it sounds like is happening. I don't know if it will happen. But once the seller is like, okay, well, I got to give a little bit more in this relationship that I was thinking. I don't know. But it's Nathan. He's my guy. Sure, I'll give it a go. The seller's gonna have a few options. He can push back and say, no, I want Nathan to do more down, so he holds less of the seller financing. He can say, no, you know what? This isn't as smooth of a deal as I want. I'd rather sell all cash to like a private equity guy, and he could just pull the plug. Like he could walk if negotiations fall through on financing. He could try to get me to give more cash down and put the deal at risk if I can't get the full financing that I am going to need, and still be liquid after the transaction. And so there's a lot of buildup and a lot of preparation for the final bank decision day. And that's where we are right now. I don't know what the bank has told the broker. I'm guessing the broker, if they know, they would forward that on to the seller. I'm guessing the seller would have to make a decision. I don't know where anyone stands on that. All I know is that the bank has told me, and laying the groundwork and being relatable, being engaged in the sales process, really caring about what the seller's legacy is going to be, making sure their staff are taken care of, their members are valued, that I'm staying confidential in this whole process. And then I'm being open and upfront. Now, I told them like my bonus is coming on this day in August. It'll be for I gave him a $5,000 buffer. And I had a feeling to be right in the middle, and I was pretty accurate. But it's like, I'm going to be getting a bonus on this day for between this much money. Every dollar is going towards the equity injection. And here's how much I have today. Here's how much I will have. Here's where my personal checking, my business checking, my 401ks, my home equity, like cards on the table. I'm not trying to hide or pull one over in anybody. And I think that's really gone a long way. And so just reflecting on the deal, it's hard to not think about it every hour of every day, because this is a big life transition for us. This is really going to change our lifestyle. And just realizing like this is really cool, and praying about it daily, and like God, here we are. Here's where we want to be. Can you open doors and make things happen? We really wanted to see this happen, and we want to pursue this business ownership. So yeah, just putting thoughts down onto recording. You have to be, this is a sales game. And when I texted the seller, like, hey, they said what's your secret? The member said, like, you've got a secret sauce. You're phenomenal at leadership. I read this meme about leadership and it resonates. I'm going to use this in business practice. I'm going through the book Traction again, Built to Sell, all these other, and Gym Launch Secrets by Alex Hormozi. Like, here's the stuff I'm doing, not to like suck up or like blow smoke at him, but to be like, hey, like I care. I'm here. I'm doing this. Like I'm invested time and emotionally and financially, because it's all going to pan out. And the more you've invested and the more you've put your heart on the line, the better your chances are that they'll still say yes and still work with you. You may get heartbroken. They may say, screw it. I want a different buyer. I'm going to keep the gyms. Nathan, you're too poor. I'm going to go sell it. Like, they could do a lot of things. But the more I've put in and the more I've invested in all aspects, I think the bigger return it's going to be. So when you're talking with sellers, when you're working with deals and brokers and lenders, make sure that like people can read where your heart's at along the way. There's one broker I was working with in another state. I was another 2 club sale, but he and I were just not clicking. Like, if it was a first date, it was super awkward. I couldn't read him on the phone. I think he thought I was a goofball, and like we were just not connecting. So even if it was a good deal, a good seller, a good lender, if you have a third wheel in that relationship, it's just not going to flow. And when you get to the awkward parts like renegotiating or countering, it just makes it all the trickier. And so you want to have good terms with all parties along the way, because at some point that people will ask you to do stuff, and you don't want that to be awkward, and you'll be asking other people to give a little on their side too, and you don't want that to be awkward. So you're always selling yourself, and you're always wanting to make sure that they're selling themselves to you as well, and they're not just a take it or leave it person, and that you're having to like beg upwards to them and just take what they give you. So this is a human game. This is a human relationship game. This isn't a spreadsheet. This isn't eBay or Amazon where you just buy it now and you get it. This is very much a long, slow process, painstakingly long, but it's a human process where you got to win over with human relationships, human emotion, human connection. And after transaction, this is going to be a relationship that goes on for several months, if not years. This broker did a great job finding these businesses. The seller has a third one. I want to keep working together post deal if I could have it my way. So those are the final musings I'm trying to get out of my head, trying to stay focused on work. And that's all I got. So time to plug away at the W-2 and keeping the phone handy for when the lender says we've got good news. This has been another episode of the Business Buyer Diaries. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you're realizing that business ownership is no cakewalk. Check the podcast notes for a link to the DIY due diligence program, the complete list of show sponsors, and for media inquiries. Music written and composed by Wes Schrock. I'm your host, Nathan Platter. Join me again on the next one.